Most people never realize they're trapped because the cage feels normal. Work comes in, money goes out, and somehow the numbers never move. That's not bad luck, it's physics. The first $50,000 is the most violent, unforgiving phase of wealth building, and it's the point where almost everyone quits. I'm Kyle, and I've watched people work for decades without ever crossing this line because they don't understand how money actually behaves at low levels. This isn't an arbitrary milestone. It's the minimum mass required to stop being purely reactive. Below it, your paycheck controls you. Above it, options start to appear. Stay with me, because once you understand why this threshold rewrites the rules, you'll never look at your bank balance the same way again. Picture this: a flat tire, a dentist bill, or a delayed paycheck. With $500 in the bank, that's a crisis. With $5,000, it's annoying. With $50,000, it's just friction. That gap is everything. The issue isn't your income, it's that you haven't reached escape velocity. At low net worth, every decision is defensive. Your brain is stuck solving for rent, groceries, and survival. There's no room for strategy, no room for patience. Until you cross this specific level of capital, you're forced to trade time for money because there's no buffer protecting you. That constant pressure is what keeps people poor, even when they earn decent salaries. This isn't about motivation. It's about math and psychology working against you at the same time.
Here's where people misunderstand growth. They assume doubling money is just about percentages. It isn't. Doubling $1,000 changes nothing. Doubling $50,000 changes your life trajectory. One buys gadgets, the other buys time. At that point, money stops being something you spend and starts becoming something that produces. Passive income becomes real, not theoretical. This is the exact moment where paths diverge. One continues grinding hours for paychecks, the other starts deploying capital like a tool. Most people never experience this shift because they quit during the slow, boring phase where progress feels invisible. But that phase is doing the heaviest work. Without it, everything collapses later. Instead of asking, "How much does this cost?" wealthy people ask a different question. What does this earn? That's the leverage framework. $50,000 to the average person looks like a car, a wedding, or a lifestyle upgrade. To someone who understands capital, it looks like seeds. Seeds get planted, assets get watered, consumption ends the cycle. This is where discipline separates futures. If you eat the seed, there's no harvest. Hit the 50,000 mark and you finally have enough capital to manage a system instead of scraping for scraps. That shift demands emotional control, the ability to delay gratification while everyone around you is chasing short-term dopamine. Most people never build that muscle.
In physics, a chain reaction only starts after critical mass is reached. Finance works the same way. Below 50,000, inflation, fees, interest, and random emergencies consume your progress. You're pushing a boulder uphill while the ground fights you. Cross that threshold and something flips. Growth starts to outpace damage. Compounding begins to matter. Momentum replaces brute force. The tragedy is that most people quit when they're closer than they think, exhausted, discouraged, and unaware they're inches from the peak. They assume the struggle is permanent. It isn't, but you have to push past the phase where nothing feels like it's working. Scarcity changes how you take risks, and not in your favor. When you have nothing, every move is a gamble. One mistake and everything collapses. That fear keeps you small. With $50,000 liquid, the risk profile changes completely. You can take calculated shots with limited downside and real upside. You can invest in skills, walk away from bad deals, or wait while others panic. Desperation disappears, and desperation is the most expensive position in business. The person who needs the deal always loses. Capital buys patience, and patience creates power. Below this line, decisions are emotional. Above it, they're mathematical. The question isn't whether you want to be rich. The question is which side of that line you're willing to fight to stand on.
Execution starts with something uncomfortable: honesty, not motivation, not vision boards, a ruthless financial audit. For the next 30 days, every dollar gets tracked. Every coffee, every app, every small swipe you forgot about 5 minutes later. If you can't explain where your money went, you haven't earned the right to complain about not having more of it. Most people bleed cash quietly through subscriptions they forgot, convenience fees they rationalize, and purchases made to signal status instead of building leverage. That ends now. You run your finances like a startup that's about to run out of runway. Every dollar has a role or it's fired. The goal is margin, a wide one, because earning $3,000 and spending almost all of it is financial prison. Earning the same and keeping $1,000 is the beginning of sovereignty. This phase may demand uncomfortable moves, side work, selling unused things, relocating somewhere cheaper. That's not punishment, that's positioning. Temporary austerity buys permanent leverage. Nothing meaningful happens if you rely on leftovers. Saving whatever remains at the end of the month is fantasy math. What works is force. The moment your paycheck hits, money moves automatically into your savings or brokerage account. No debate, no willpower. Think of it as a non-negotiable bill you owe your future self. Aggression matters here. 20% is good, 30% is better, 50%, if you can handle it, is transformative. Speed changes everything. $500 a month keeps you stuck in the grind for years. $2,000 a month gets you across the line while most people are still planning. This isn't about being extreme forever. It's about compressing the pain into a short window so the rest of your life gets easier. Comfort stretches the timeline. Discomfort shortens it. Choose deliberately. Growth dies the moment lifestyle inflation enters the room. Treat it like a disease. The second your balance improves, the temptation appears. Nicer car, better clothes, more expensive food. The story you tell yourself is always the same: I earned it. What you're really doing is selling future freedom for short-term validation. Every upgrade delays escape. The rule is simple: freeze your lifestyle until the milestone is hit. Raises don't change how you live, they change how fast you save. That's how wealth gets trapped instead of leaking back into the system. Ignore what your friends are doing. Many of them are broke on a nicer couch. You're building something invisible now so your future becomes visible later. This phase isn't glamorous, it's effective. Structure beats motivation every time. So here's the 90-day framework. Days 1 to 30, purge, cancel, sell, negotiate, cut. Increase your primary income by at least 10%. Ask, hustle, or build something on the side. Days 31 to 60, margin expansion. Drop living costs aggressively and redirect every freed dollar into a separate account labeled with intent. This is your freedom fund. Days 61 to 90, proof of capability. You generate your first $1,000 outside your main job. Doesn't matter how. Freelance, flip, consult. What matters is the realization. Money is something you can create, not just receive. Once that clicks, the mental ceiling breaks. From there, you repeat what works. Track milestones visually. 10, 25, 50. Each number changes how you think. Stop only when the box is checked.
Progress doesn't usually fail because of complexity. It fails because of predictable mistakes. High-interest debt bleeding you dry, comparing your progress to people funding lifestyles with credit, overthinking investment choices instead of building the habit, believing expenses are one time when life keeps happening, inconsistent saving that resets momentum, quitting when progress stalls for a few months, and the biggest misunderstanding of all, thinking 50,000 is the finish line. It isn't. It's the starting gate. That number doesn't mean you've arrived. It means you're finally equipped to play the real game. Stopping there misses the entire point. So here's the equation you should remember: ruthless clarity, wide margins, automated execution. That's it. The separation is happening right now, whether you act or not. One path is watching others pass you while you explain why it's hard. The other is doing the boring, disciplined work that compounds into leverage. Start today. Cut one expense, redirect that money immediately, then do it again tomorrow. Drop a comment with the one sacrifice you're making this week to move closer to your first 50,000. I read them because commitment matters. This milestone is brutal, but it's also the most empowering thing you can do for your future self. Comfort steals decades. Discipline buys freedom. Decide which one you're choosing.